While the watches with annual and perpetual calendar complications existed even in the 19th century, it wasn't until mid-40s when Rolex introduced a wristwatch to show just the date. 1926 introduced to the world the first waterproof oyster watch by Rolex, and then in 1931 the first perpetual movement, hence the birth of Rolex Oyster Perpetual. 1945 brought the day for the world to see the first self-winding chronometer to display the date in the dial window, which later received a Cyclops lens in 1953 to improve the legibility. On top of the characteristic feature of date window in the dial, there were a few other aspects that made the Datejust an icon. The design attributes that were never seen before. The Jubilee bracelet and the fluted bezel combined with the size of 36mm. The design profiles that even after close to 80 years, DJ36 remains as timeless as ever. If you find this video informative or helpful, please don't forget to support me by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I spend close to 20 hours in making each video, then I upload weekly. In my reviews, I look at the watches as a buyer to share with you the details that in my time I couldn't find for myself. Rarely in watches from any manufacturers, there's an opportunity and occurrence where you take the watch for a spin after 75 years of its original release, and all you're going to experience is the same design, same size and almost the very same watch, yet with all the latest and modern features added to it. Rolex are known for their subtle design changes, and this is what truly makes them historic and iconic. You can be 10 meters away and you may be wearing a DJ36 from 2020 or even from 1950s, and it can still be spotted and recognized from its unique looks and design profiles. Datejust has something more special to it. It is a true classic from the very early days of Rolex Oyster Perpetual watches, even before the Explorer, GMT, Submariner or even Daytona were added to the lineup. And then the DJ36 has the additional aspects that make it a watch that is hard to beat. Its size of 36mm, which is where this reference commenced from, and it has remained the most versatile size in all these years. With modern times calling for bigger and bolder watches, it wasn't until 2009 when Rolex added the 41mm variant to the range to meet the market needs and demands. While the DJ41 does offer a nice contrast to the line, fortunately it didn't come at the cost of 36mm size, and accordingly we still have the same classic 36mm size on offer. In the complete Rolex catalog, where we have multiple options for professional models, and you can opt for a watch for diving, traveling, exploration, sea surfing and racing, DJ36 in all practicality is your only option for a dress watch from Rolex that still retains the sporty characters enough to make it a little more versatile than typical dress watches. It is a hardcore dress watch at heart, but being true to its origin and inheritance. Let's not forget it's also waterproof, and the watch in return then comes with screw-down crown. The crown in result offers twin lock system, where after unscrewing the crown, pulling it one step back allows you to adjust the date, meaning the watch does come with quick date change mechanism, and pulling the crown another step back will allow you to adjust the time. The watch does come with hacking seconds hand, meaning the seconds hand stops at this position to allow you to adjust the time with atomic lock. The twin lock crown system is also represented on the crown itself, where you have one long line under the Rolex logo. This particular configuration on DJ36 is black tile with Roman numerals inside the stainless steel case and white gold fluted bezel complemented with Jubilee bracelet. The Roman numerals add to the personality of the watch and fill the dial nicely, and since they are fully applied, they also add to the experience with the way they play with the light. The only downside with this particular dial configuration is that there is no lume in the dial, not in the hour markers and not even in the dial hands. This would mean that this watch is strictly not usable in low light conditions, or if you were intending to use it in the darker ambience. That being said, since the hour markers are applied and the dial hands have dual facets, if there's any light source in the darker ambience, even if dull, the dial hands will reflect the light and offer you the time reading function regardless. The Coke bottle-shaped case with signature profiles with Datejust comes with fully polished case profiles and rounded edges to complement the dressy looks. The fluted bezel on top plays with the light absolutely spectacularly and offers you a very enriching experience. Upon the flick of the wrist or during the wrist roll, the light storms that the fluted bezel gives are truly mesmerizing. While Rolex produce great watches that not only do the job they are made for, they are not the best watches when inspected under the macro. I showed in my OP39 video how the watch had scratches on the dial hands, and I thought the piece I had for review was a bad example and it's not the standard quality from Rolex. Unfortunately, it seems it wasn't. And this DJ36 comes with similar dial hands and shows no different quality, and you can see the scratches on the dial hands all around. I will zoom into the bottom end of the dial hand and you can see that the lines don't even appear to be superficial or surface scratches, rather they seem deeper. Looking closely at the seconds hand, there's dust all around and again some fine surface scratches are evident. The Rolex logo at 12 o'clock shows similar minor scratches and the same relatively rough finish can be seen on other hour markers. The hour markers are applied and reflect light reasonably fine, but they are not quite mirror polished. Rather, the polishing on them is actually basic. On my 6.5 inches wrist, DJ36 wears like a Datejust dream and offers the exact experience and vibe you desire the DJ for. The combination of fluted bezel with the Jubilee bracelet works just so well that you simply can't get bored of it. The watch case is 12mm thick and it slips under the cuff without any problems. The lug-to-lug height of the case is 44mm and on my wrist with span of 55mm. The wrist view shows me the case and then how fluidly the case connects to the bracelet, and then finally how elegantly the bracelet contours down with the wrist profile. Thanks to 36mm size, I can also see the Jubilee bracelet and how it marries perfectly with the watch case and bezel. What I personally find as one main difference between wearer's view of the wrist and third person view is that the watches generally look larger on wrist shot or when seen from wearer's perspective and relatively shorter when viewed from third person's view. This DJ is an interesting watch indeed, and at 36mm, it actually looks beautifully sized from both wearer's view and the third person's view. The bracelet is 20mm, which is the same width as Rolex Submariner, meaning the watch looks as manly as 40mm sub, yet comes with smaller case to add to those dressy looks. This particular reference comes with hidden folding clasp, which is now replaced with typical Rolex oyster clasp. I do like the aesthetics and symmetry of hidden clasp, but it doesn't have any extension link system. This hidden clasp being replaced with oyster clasp now comes with 5mm extension link, which does offer a lot of comfort and that snug fit on the wrist that many of us like and enjoy. In the world full of talks on superheroes and professional Rolex models like Hulk, Batman, Pepsi and Panda, there's one thing I can tell you with 100% certainty. There will never be a day an all-time classic, the 36mm DJ, will go out of place or look out of time. If you wanted a classic Rolex model with all the sporty characters but in a dressy look, there's virtually nothing more dressier and formal looking than the DJ36 in Rolex line. Rolex are good watches, and while they offer you the experience and that vibe of timelessness and versatility, they offer the most reliable mechanical watches to exist. With Rolex on the wrist, you can be almost certain that your watch will practically never stop ticking. They are not the watches to see the best in the business polishing and attention to detail, especially under the macro. And let's admit, they don't claim to offer one either. They are great at what they do: dimensions, aesthetics and proportions. And well, did I say the time accuracy?